welcome to the Amethyst Witches again. Today we are talking about ways that you might know that you are a witch.
That's right. And these are 13 things that might indicate that you have a propensity towards being a witch. And then maybe you're not sure yet. And so you would like to know, hey, am I a witch? Well, if you have more than 6 of these qualities, then you might be. And we're going to start with number 1. And that is that you have a strong interest in the paranormal and that you believe in ghosts, maybe even werewolves and vampires. You might believe in
Cryptids.
Cryptids.
Aliens.
Aliens, that's right. Yeah, UFOs. You might have a strong, fascination with Yetis, Bigfoots, Loch Ness Monster, things like that. And yeah, and you fairies, right?
Yeah.
And you suspend disbelief and you think it's possible. It's possible that those things might be true.
Yeah. Number 2 would be strong intuition or a deep knowing that something is about to happen. And maybe you haven't had that, formal training of being a medium or a psychic, but you'll just know things before they happen. You might know, that a friend is about to call or, somebody's going through a rough time and they keep popping into your head, that sort of thing.
You might receive an impression and see a visual image in your mind's eye about something, or even you have a strong feeling of like you don't want to get on that bus, or you don't want to, you have some kind of alert to danger.
Yes.
And and you listen to your gut because you know that your intuition has not let you down and you believe in it.
Yeah.
So,
Prophetic dreams.
oh, dreams. Yes. Yeah. You might have prophetic dreams as well, for sure. So number 3 is that you have a deep love of the night and you are considered a night owl and you like to stay up late at night and you like to love the moon and you love to look at the moon and you're always aware when the moon is full or even when the moon is crescent or waning or waxing. You seem to know about those things and you pay more attention than most people to the night and to stars and things like that.
Well, I grew up on the West Coast where, if the tide was coming in, I always knew that where the tide was at, was it coming in, going out, whatever it had to do with the moon, right? And I remember my husband was not from that area and he thought that was fascinating. I always seemed to know whether the tide was in or out.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So number 4 would be an interest in crystals, feeling the energy from the crystals, rocks, minerals, just sort of like interested in that, sort of collecting them or feeling them or whatever.
A desire to collect them and to know more about them. Yeah, that would be another thing too. And to know about the geology in your area. Here in Ontario, there's a place where you can go and you can mine your own sodalite and amethyst. It's pretty cool. You go and you take a bucket and you're allowed to come out with as many crystals as you can find. So, and that's up in, I think it's up near Pembroke or Harriel. Yeah. So there's things like that you can do. And I remember as a kid, up in Thunder Bay, we went to an amethyst mine. And it was the same idea where you could go and you could find a crystal and bring it home. Nice. That must have felt being in an amethyst. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was wow. So number 5 is that you have a love of nature and that you're concerned about the environment. And I think that was one thing that started to happen to me when I was in my late teens. I started to become very concerned with the environment. And I even became a member of Greenpeace. And I got a t-shirt and everything because I sent them money. But no, I was very concerned about endangered species and pollution and things that were going on. And I still am. I still am. But that was sort of one of the first indicators that I really have a strong love for the planet and for wildlife and nature. But I also, I have a belief that nature heals itself. And, I remember this thing in National Geographic. We used to get National Geographic subscription when I was a child. And there was a river that was so badly polluted, and I can't remember where it was now, but the river, it just looked brown and red. It even looked red. So then environmentalists and conservationists came in and they cared for the river. And they showed a picture 10 years later where the river was the water was completely blue and clear, and all the growth around it was green. And so nature does heal itself with our care.
Yeah.
With our care, obviously.
Well,
we can't just keep polluting it.
if we weren't here, nature would take over.
That's right. That's right. Nature is the strongest.
Yeah. So, and that's part of it. Like, you believe that the planet is a living being, we are just here on her. We're like little ants, fleas on her. And, one day she's going to get tired of us and shake us off.
Yeah. So don't piss off Mother Nature. Okay.
Next one would be an interest in astronomy and planets and galaxies, like paying attention to where the stars are in the sky, in the night skies. Just sort of noticing that. And I know for myself, I always, as a child, I would pay attention to where Orion was in the star system, like in the sky, because I thought it looked like my teddy bear. So the constellation of Orion, I thought was my teddy bear. And so I'd always look up in the night sky, okay, where's my teddy bear tonight? So cute. So cute. And then later on you realize, okay, yeah, but I still, when I look up and I find Orion, that's the first thing I do, look for Orion's belt and like, okay, there it is. Still looks like a teddy bear to me. But
I would always look for my constellation, for my astrological constellation.
Nice.
And yeah, I was always looking for that when it was in the sky. And another thing I was fascinated by was the seven sisters, Pleiades.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fascinating to know that each one of those stars is actually a galaxy. Wow. Mind blown.
Yeah. It's like that scene in Men in Black where at the very end where the aliens have little galaxies in the marbles and they're just like, yeah.
Okay, where we at now, Mary?
So number 7.
Number 7, and that is an interest in myths from other cultures. As a child, I was deeply fascinated with the myths of Scandinavia. My maternal grandfather was from Sweden, and so I was always really interested in Swedish mythologies and the Poetic Edda and things like that, even as a small child. And yeah, I was fascinated with Loki and all the different gods and goddesses, Freya, riding the cats and all that. She had a chariot of cats, and I thought that was quite grand, of course, because I love cats so much. But yeah, also Mayan culture, I was quite fascinated with. I went to an Aztec culture. I went to Chichen Itza when I was 13 years old with my family. And at that time, you were able to go right in and climb up the pyramids. And my brother and I did that. And we had such a amazing feeling there. It's hard to describe the feeling we had, but both my brother and I, we just had this energetic feeling. We were running around and just, I don't know, there was something in the air there. So that was really interesting. Also, Egyptian culture, I was quite fascinated.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing about the Tutankhamun when we were kids, the Tutankhamun exhibit came through the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto.
Oh, I went to that.
Did you go to that?
Yeah. We were visiting from Washington, and we went to the ROM to go see King Tut's exhibit. It is amazing.
It was amazing. And just the idea of mummies and,
yeah,
sarcophaguses and all these things. And even they had sarcophagus for cats. And I thought that was so fascinating. So, yeah. And obviously, Egypt was one of the most magical cultures that has ever been.
Yeah.
With the pyramids and the Sphinx and all the things that have come from Egypt, Book of Thoth and everything like that. So yeah, there's a strong tie to magic when it comes to Egypt.
And the Celtic mythology, I was fascinated by that as a kid. And ancient Greece and Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some of the first books that you can find in the library when you're a kid and you're interested in these sort of things. And it's not necessarily about witchcraft, but it's definitely related because all those goddesses and gods are in these books that you can find on mythology. So
Definitely true.
yeah, kind of leads you down that path.
For sure. Okay, number 8.
Number 8, you don't agree with the organized religion philosophically. It just doesn't speak to you.
It doesn't speak to you. You don't get anything spiritually from it. You just feel like it's just dead. Like that's how I felt going to church, you know? Nothing against Christianity. It's a wonderful religion in its own right. But it didn't do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like I was just reading out of a book. I believe in God, the Father. It didn't touch me in any way whatsoever.
I felt the same way.
Though I did believe in a higher power. But I just, once I started finding out about pagan religions and earth-based religions like Druidry and Wicca, things like that, I was like, where have you been all my life? This is me. This is what I believe, you know? And so,
And maybe somehow we knew that, this was the older religion.
Yeah.
Even when we were kids and just, like, this doesn't make sense. To me, I feel like there's something missing.
yeah,
The goddess was missing.
exactly. And that's another thing. You don't, this whole patriarchal thing of God being a man, the Father, the Son, and even the Holy Spirit, they don't even really say that's supposed to be like also masculine. So there's this trinity of masculine gods that you're supposed to believe in. And then you've got Mother Mary the Virgin, and that's it.
Then really it should be the father, the mother,
The child.
the child is what it should have been. But somehow the mother got kind of shoved out of the
And
the equation.
yeah. And so I just didn't jive with that at all. Yeah. No. Okay. Next, number 9.
Number 9. That's you.
Oh, that's me. Okay. You have a strong interest in astrology?
Animals.
Oh, animals. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Number 9, you love animals. And ever since I was a little child, I'd have budgie birds and I had cats. So I always had cats. It wasn't until later, being an adult, that I got my first dog. I mean, we had family dogs and I loved them as well, of course. But my pets were cats all the way through. And I have had some wonderful cats. I had a wonderful Manx cat at one point. And he was so smart, such an intelligent animal. But just animals in general, like I always loved horses. I loved horseback riding. And I always felt like I had a strong attraction to animals and they had a strong attraction to me. Isn't it funny that we're talking about animals and one comes waltzing in? And you all met Ozzy. That's Mary's dog, Ozzy. She's a beautiful puff.
Ozzy made his video, he debuted grand appearance on the Amethyst Witches.
Like on cue. We're going to have to get him a little amethyst for his collar. He's our Amethyst Witch dog.
Yes.
But anyways, a love of animals and a concern for animals and a strong affinity for all animals, including reptiles and birds. So yeah, animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So number 10 is attraction to the goddess and the divine feminine, and wanting to learn the mythology of the goddesses and just sort of, I don't know, using that energy into you kind of thing.
Yeah, and just the idea that if there is a god, there has to be a goddess.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
Yes.
Right? And so honoring the feminine in yourself, whether you are a man or a woman, you have the anima inside you.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
And then you are number 11.
Okay. And number 11 is that you strongly resonate with your sun sign and astrology, and you notice like certain signs you get along with better. That was something I noticed right away. I was like, oh, I really get along really well with the earth signs. And then I ended up marrying my husband is an earth sign. And I just have a really strong, a lot of my friends were earth signs. They were Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And it just seemed to be that was someone, those were signs that I really got along with, even though I'm not an earth sign, but I got along with them really well. And it does say in astrology that those are the signs that my sign would get along with really well. But I get along with all the signs, really.
Yeah.
Yes. More or less.
And, I always would, as a kid, teenager, whatever, was interested in astrology. And I don't know if you remember, but you'd get those little weekly astrology things.
A little roll. Love those things. Oh my God. And I used to come at the grocery store and they give you like your lucky numbers and everything that you could play for the lottery. I just, those
Buy those every week.
Star Scrolls. That's what they were called. Star Scrolls.
I bought those into my 20s for sure.
Why don't they have those anymore?
Yeah,
I love those things. Those were,
if I saw those in the grocery store now, I would definitely still pick it up.
and they were accurate. They were way more accurate than like the ones on the newspaper. They're bullshit. They're never right. They're like, oh, well, they say something so general, it could apply to anyone. But those astro scrolls,
Yeah.
they were bang on.
Yeah. And we used to have like people come on the TV and do the horoscope for the week, or on a radio or whatever. You'd always hear about it. It was just something that was.
Well, there's a guy on There's a guy on YouTube that I follow, and I can't remember his name right now, but he does all the signs. And he'll say what the week is for Sagittarius or Aquarius or whatever, and he'll go through all the signs, and he's pretty bang on too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some good astrologers on YouTube.
Oh yeah, there's still some really good ones on there to follow for sure.
Okay.
Number 12 is that you manifest easily. So, by that I mean, well, my favorite thing for manifesting is the thrift store. So,
Thrift store story. Let's hear it.
you start to think of something that you'd like for your home or you need or whatever, and you make your way to the thrift store that week, and there is the thing that you needed right there, and it's a good price, or it's something that you haven't thought of for a really long time,
Right.
and there it is.
Yeah.
And
But it's something you always wanted. Right. Yeah. And so you thought it into existence. And that's a really strong thing about magic, because the power of our thoughts is, what it's all about, really,
And sometimes we manifest things we don't want as well.
That's true.
If we get into a bit of a I know, be careful what you wish for, and you think things are really negative or whatever, you start thinking about that, then you're going to manifest that around you. But my favorite story for manifestation is the sword that I found. And I had gone to this meditation at like a shop, and did this big meditation where you're supposed to bring in a goddess, and the goddess is going to tell you something really profound, right? And I had this really like crazy vision of the Lady of the Lake finding me a sword and telling me that it was the sword of truth and it was for sovereignty. Well, after the fact, I looked up a lot of that mythology, and that is what it's supposedly about. But then I go to the thrift store, and there is this sword.
She finds the sword
sitting on a rack.
Right. Like, who finds that? She's the Queen of Swords, the McTarrow.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Like, how do you find that? You can't explain that one. That is a weird. Like, why wasn't it behind a counter? What was it doing there that nobody bought it ahead of me? Like, there it is, just sitting in a rack.
Yeah. I've had similar things with usually antique shops, but yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, and number 13 is that people might ask you, are you a witch?
Yeah.
Right? Or people will say, oh, you're into that witchy stuff.
Yeah.
I've had that before. Oh, you're into all that witchy stuff.
You're into that woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that my whole life. And I used to think, when I was younger, I used to think, oh, it's the red hair. Like, people, connotate red-haired people with witches. So I was like, must be the red hair. Right. That continued. Even when I would dye my hair different colors, whatever, they'd ask me if I was a witch. And so then I started to realize, no, it's about energy. And I think that's why people pick up on it. Maybe even before you realize it yourself, people are going to pick up on that.
Right, so that is 13 reasons why you might have a propensity for witchcraft. And yeah, so let us know in the comments below. We got a singer here. Let us know in the comments below if any of these things apply to you, and if you would like to take it a little further. Maybe you would like to get some books on witchcraft and start to get into it a little bit, like Scott Cunningham's Solitary Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner is a great starting book. But there's so many books nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the nice thing about the internet is the information's out there if you want to find out more. And
go to your local shops, you know, like
go to your
privileged enough to have a shop in your area, get to know the people there, take a few classes, right, Ozzy? Ozzy, do you agree?
Are you a witch too? Are you an Amethyst Witch?
He's definitely a familiar, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this week and, answer the comments, whether you think you're a witch and if you agree with any of the things we said.
And if you have anything to add it in the comments below as well.
Yes, please.
Okay, blessed be.
Bye.